18th Street is our base, but the real day-to-day linguistic diversity of the city lies elsewhere, in some of its least-known neighborhoods. We're not talking about Manhattan, which was once a multi-ethnic labyrinth, but is now simply too expensive, though it remains a job center and playground for many better-off international students, tourists, business people, cultural figures, diplomats, and various others with their hundreds of mother tongues. The United Nations, after all, is both a global political hub and just another city neighborhood. The destruction of the World Trade Center in 2001 was an event of global scale and significance in part because the New Yorkers killed in the towers came from over 100 countries and almost certainly spoke an even larger number of languages. But for at least the last half-century, it's the city's outer boroughs where hundreds of language groups from around the world have carved out entire communities. This other, more radically cosmopolitan city of low-rise working-class immigrant neighborhoods both makes Manhattan possible and stands perpetually in its shadows. It encompasses ungentrified Brooklyn south of the Terminal Moraine, most of the Bronx, and Staten Island north of the Expressway. But nowhere on the planet, square mile after square mile, is more linguistically diverse than the borough of Queens. In terms of what we know about its actual linguistic life, not to mention many of the individual languages spoken, Queens might as well be at the bottom of the ocean. Here, speakers of languages like Trung live not 8,000 miles away, but a block or a subway stop away. For the last decade, since coming home from China, I have been living in one of its quieter corners, a nondescript neighborhood with an extraordinary soundtrack. Imagine you're on foot. On any given block, passing voices speak varieties of Polish, Ukrainian, Egyptian Arabic, Mexican Spanish, Puerto Rican Spanish, Dominican Spanish, Ecuadorian Spanish, Quechua, and all the forms of New York City English they give rise to. I can usually pick them out but only understand a fraction of what people are saying, depending on context, volume, and so many other factors, and you can't learn a language by eavesdropping. In certain stores, Albanians, Bosnians, and Serbs and Montenegrins all reunite for the immigrant hustle, speaking the languages of the former Yugoslavia as if the country still existed. An old Macedonian selling tchotchkes from a table on the street is a gentle bully in every language. At a grocery stocking goods from Budapest, Baku, and all points between, the owner has a favorite among the dozen sweating blocks of feta, Romanian sheep, which is actually made in Bulgaria by a Romanian firm the way the Bulgarians, those masters of feta, used to do it 20 years ago, he says, with a faraway look in his eyes. Some groups in the neighborhood have battled each other to the point of genocide back home, but here a basic neutrality and balance of power are never questioned. Everyone's homeland is a borderland, and every group is some kind of ethnic or linguistic minority. No nationalism seems simple, no language standard, and all are to different degrees endangered here. People call themselves Romanian Serbs, which means that they're from the Banat, German Hungarians rather than Danube Swabians, Slovenian Germans in case you don't know of the Gottscheers. The Albanian Montenegrins, to be precise, are from the border town of Ulkin.